As an immigrant to this country, I would like to say a few words to my fellow Americans. President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet. Very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys.
Did you hear that? That was the sound of the internet shattering after Arnold Schwarzenegger just drop-kicked Trump's reputation into next week. The governor just unleashed a verbal smackdown on the Donald, and it's the political showdown we never saw coming. Forget Celebrity Apprentice. This is Celebrity Roast Presidential Edition. And trust me, Arnold isn't here to play nice. He's serving up hard truths with a side of Austrian sass, and the internet is living for it. But before we dive in, I've got a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy this content, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch without subscribing, and it costs you nothing, but helps us a lot. Click that button. Awesome. Now, back to the action. Remember when Arnold was just that ripped guy in tiny shorts, lifting ridiculous weights? Yeah, those were the days. But our favorite Austrian powerhouse has leveled up big time. From pumping iron to pumping up California's economy, his journey feels like a real-life action movie, with plot twists that would make even the Terminator's head spin. Think about it. This was a dude with a thick accent, stepping into Hollywood, and everyone thought it was a joke. But Arnold wasn't laughing. He flexed his way to superstardom, turned "I'll be back" into a legendary catchphrase, and became the biggest action hero of the 80s and 90s. Talk about a self-made icon. But just when we thought Arnold had hit his final form, he pulled a classic Schwarzenegger move and said,
"You famously said that the Republican Party has a problem at the box office. I heard you equate the GOP with the Titanic. Explain."
The reason why I said it was because their policies were such that they were not really including everybody. And we were losing them because we were not addressing those issues. So I was telling them, I said, look, the way you're going, by being so healthcare reform and being so anti-environment and stuff like this, we are losing and we are dying at the box office.
Arnold wasn't just content with being a Hollywood megastar. Next thing we know, he's running for governor of California. I mean, who does that? Arnold does. That's who. A bodybuilder turned actor stepping into politics sounds crazier than a predator on roller skates. But here's the plot twist. He actually did a solid job. He rolled up his sleeves, probably to flex those biceps, and took on some major issues. Climate change? He went after it like a T-800 hunting John Connor. Healthcare reform? He gave it a workout that would make Gold's Gym proud. But here's where it gets really interesting. Arnold isn't just any politician. He's got a secret weapon. His immigrant background. The Austrian oak brings a whole different perspective to American politics, and he's not afraid to call it like he sees it. It's like he's telling the political elite, listen up, you jabronis. I've seen both sides of the fence, and it's time to make room for everyone at this party.
And they hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster.
So being from Europe, I have seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here.
Arnold, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again.
You'd think being a Republican governor would make Arnold and Trump best buds, right? Wrong. Turns out, our muscle-bound legend has a mind of his own. He's not afraid to flex his political muscles and call out his own party when they're acting like, in his words, a bunch of girly men. And Arnold's got some choice words for the GOP. He says the Republican Party has a problem at the box office. Ouch. That's Hollywood speak for, you guys are about as popular as a Jingle All the Way sequel. Looks like the party isn't quite living up to Arnold's action hero standards. But here's where it gets really good. Arnold's political style? It's like comparing a well-oiled machine to a rusty trumpet, and 3 guesses who the trumpet is. First 2 don't count. While some politicians thrive on chaos and division, Arnold's all about unity and higher ideals. It's like he's trying to be the John McClane of politics, saving America from the bad guys, one yippee-ki-yay at a time. So what made Arnold decide to take on Trump now? Well, our favorite kindergarten cop has seen this movie before, and he's not a fan of the sequel. He's been there, done that, and got the No More Authoritarianism t-shirt. Arnold's seen firsthand what happens when democracy takes a nosedive, and he's not about to let history repeat itself. It's like his entire life has been leading up to this moment. From pumping iron to pumping up voter turnout, he's been training for the fight of his life. And let me tell you folks, he's bringing out the big guns. And no, we're not just talking about his arms. Hold on to your hair pieces, people. Just when we thought Arnold had hung up his political gloves, he's back with a knockout punch that's got the internet buzzing faster than Trump can tweet Kofefi. Our favorite Austrian oak decided it was time to terminate Trump's ego. And boy, did he bring out the big guns. Now picture this. Arnold, sitting in his fancy office, probably surrounded by his pet donkey and miniature pony. Yes, he actually has those. He decides it's time to drop a truth bomb on social media. And let me tell you, this isn't your average I'll be back kind of video. Nope. This is more like, I'll be dragging you back to reality, Donnie. Now, you might be thinking, what could Arnold possibly say that we haven't heard before?
What do you think about Donald Trump running for president again?
You know, I think that's the past. And I think that we have to march into the future. And I think there are very talented people in this country on the Republican side that can run. So I will go, look in the future rather than in a rear mirror.
Buckle up, Buttercup, because Arnold Schwarzenegger just dropped some truth bombs that'll make your MAGA hat do a double take. First, let's set the stage. We all know Trump loves to talk about ratings, whether it's his TV show, his rallies, or his Twitter account before it got the boot. But Arnold? He flipped the script on him in the most savage way possible. Picture this. Schwarzenegger, with that signature Austrian accent, casually suggesting a job swap. I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I'll take your job. Ouch. That's gotta sting worse than a bad spray tan. But here's the thing. Arnold isn't just out here tossing playground insults. He's coming from a place of deep personal experience. Unlike most celebrities who just throw in their 2 cents about politics, Schwarzenegger actually lived through something eerily similar to what's happening now. And he's warning America before it's too late. He opens up about growing up in post-Nazi Austria, dropping a truth bomb that makes the internet sit up and listen. My father was sucked into a hate system. I have seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. Now, let's be real. When the Terminator goes from action hero to history teacher, you know it's serious. Arnold isn't just throwing shade at Trump. He's drawing a direct line between history's darkest moments and the political rhetoric we're seeing today. Even Arnold himself is keeping it real. In a follow-up interview, he admitted, "We'll see in a few years how right I was." That's the thing. This isn't just about Trump. Arnold is sounding the alarm on something much bigger. He's warning about hate and division spreading like wildfire. He's calling out the rise of anti-Semitism and the toxicity of social media. He points out how online negativity is fueling resentment, making people despise each other over political differences. It's like he's saying, I'll be back after I've unfollowed all these toxic accounts. And here's the wild part. He's not wrong. His speech has sparked something bigger. More and more people, moderate Republicans, independents, even disillusioned conservatives, are starting to ask questions. Could this be the beginning of a shift? Could Schwarzenegger's voice inspire others in the party to finally speak up? Or will they just hide in the political closet like Arnold hid from the Predator? One thing's for sure, this isn't just about memes. It's about real political momentum. More and more celebrities are realizing they have a platform beyond the red carpet. They're using their voices, their influence, and yes, even their meme potential to shape political discourse. And while some dismiss it as just another Hollywood stunt, history tells us otherwise. From Reagan to Trump, celebrity influence in politics is very real. And Arnold? He's proving that sometimes it takes an action hero to wake people up. So, what's next? Is this just another viral moment, or could it be the start of something bigger? As Schwarzenegger himself might say, hasta la vista, baby, to the political nonsense. Because in the wild world of American politics, we're not just along for the ride. We're in the driver's seat. And the real question is, are we ready to take control?